Suicide Boys, They Will Be Done, album review. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews, Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. This is the final episode of Season 11, guys. God damn, it's been a fucking journey. I think after over 200 episodes of doing this damn show, hey, we are right back at it, guys. Now look, this is the final episode of the year. This is the final episode of Season 11, goddamn. And let me tell y'all, it's been a goddamn journey. And I thought, hey, we might as well end off the season, end off a little bit of Season 11 with a classic album review. And honestly, an album review that I really didn't expect to be dropping or covering or even, dropping everything to listen to, in the morning or whatever. Because we got Suicide Boys, and I've never done a Suicide Boys album review, so I thought this would be fun to do. Why the fuck not? Now, the thing about Suicide Boys is what I do love is the fact that this album is only like 10 songs. This is only like a 28-minute album to really dive into, which I really do enjoy that. But guys, before I even get into any of this with the Suicide Boys or whatever, guys, this is the final episode of Season 11. I mean, goddamn, all year long we've been doing Season 11, and I'm going to say this, guys, Season 11 has been a fucking journey, alright? So let's end this fucking year off with a goddamn bang, and let's start talking about some fucking Suicide Boys. Now look, Suicide Boys sometimes can hit, sometimes cannot hit, sometimes they really do hit, etc., 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 and I've never really dived in, Oh, well, I'm not going to lie to y'all, when I was younger, I dive into Suicide Boys' music. I listened to a couple of albums or whatever like that. But this is actually my first time really sitting down, really reviewing. So let's just get into it. How we usually do album reviews on this, show is that we're going to go over 3 overall points. And then we're going to come back and review every single track and rate it 1 out of 5. And then we're going to end off with my final thoughts and my overall score about the album. So let's get into this, guys. Suicide Boys, They Will Be Done. 10 tracks. Starting off with my first point, the production. I really do like the production of this album. There's a couple of tracks where I don't really enjoy it that much, but I like all the samples. I like all the choir, the classical feel. I like the hard 808s on here. I like the drums. I'd say overall, I really do overall enjoy the production of the Suicide Boys' new album, They Will Be Done. I think the production is really fire, really good. There's a couple of tracks where I think we're kind of stretching it, trying to make it more melodic. Other than that, I think I really overall enjoy the production of this album. So, really on point. The bass goes fucking crazy on here. I think it's one of the main standouts of this whole entire album, is I do like those 808s. Alright, I do like some fucking pounding 808s that's overall really fire. And then I really just like the different melodies that's happening. But I also like, too, that each track you go by, it does feel a little bit different. And I do like that. I like how the beats all have their own little thing going on. Now, my next overall point is the different vocal switch-ups. Now, look, I was trying to really like the vocal switch-ups. I think, a few tracks, I like the vocal switch-ups. I like everything going on there. And then we get into vocal switch-ups where I feel like we're just kind of dragging along the songs. That's one of my main problems of this album, is some of the vocal switch-ups are a little bit too annoying to me. Like these more higher-pitched vocal switch-ups that kind of just, don't sound that good in my opinion. So, that's my overall thing about that. And then also my third overall point is going to be the rap performance of this whole entire album. Now, there's some singing tracks on here. There's a couple of tracks where it's more melodically and there's more singing happening. I don't like those tracks at all. I think they sound the worst from the Suicide Boys album, in my opinion. And also I do not like the fact that there is some singing on here. I think Suicide Boys does not sound that good when they try to do a really simple guitar song. And we'll go over the song that has this. I remember what it's called. And that simple guitar, that kind of rock type sound. And then you got Suicide Boys kind of singing bad on here. I didn't overall really enjoy that, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, those are my overall points of how I'm feeling about this album. And now let's get into every single goddamn track. We got 10 songs. Let's start off with a review that I already did. With the first track is Latavius. I really like Latavius. I think, it sounds really good. I like those fucking 808s. I like the beat. There's only one part where I didn't really like, but other than that, I really enjoyed this track. An easy 4 out of 5. Now, this one right here, actually, 2009, Reggie Bush. I like Reggie Bush. I think this is a really good track. I love those 808s. I love the drums on this one. Also, I like the different flow switch-ups that happen on here. I think the rapping here is absolutely elite. 4 out of 5. Blood Sweat. I did not like Blood Sweat. I was trying to give it a chance, but, I just don't like the rapping. I think the vocals, too many vocal switch-ups and too many vocal switch-ups that sound bad. 2 out of 5. Next track is Angel Grove. Angel Grove, I didn't really enjoy either. I think it's too slow of a track. I think the beat's got something to it, but then you have all these different parts where, the rapping is not really connecting for me, in my opinion. 2 out of 5. Whatever floats your boat.
The Subaru Share the Love event is on from November 20th to January 2nd. During this event, Subaru donates to charities like Meals on Wheels, and so far has supported the delivery of nearly 5 million meals to our aging neighbors. When you purchase or lease a new vehicle during the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru and its retailers will make a minimum $300 donation to charity. Visit Subaru.com/share to learn more.
Hi, it's Will Cooley from the New York Rangers.
Cooley scores!
Ring in the new year with me in Miami. The NHL Winter Classic is coming to the Sunshine State. Watch as we take on the Florida Panthers in the 2026 Discover NHL Winter Classic in Miami. Catch all the action on January 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT and HBO Max. That's January 2nd at 8 p.m. on TNT and HBO Max. For tickets and more info, visit NHL.com/winterclassic.
This track right here is terrible. I think this is one of the worst tracks off the album. I'd probably give it a 1 out of 5 because the singing is so goddamn awful. Next track is Old Addicts, New Habits. I actually do like this track. I love how the fucking beat sounds on here. I think the beat is one of the main highlights here. That sample, those fucking 808s, those drums. God damn, sounds fucking beautiful, fantastic. Next track is Finzi. Now, I didn't like Finzi in the beginning. I think the beginning was a little bit too slow, and I don't like the beginning verse. But then we get that vocal switch up. We get that switch up with the other member. He comes in, and honestly, overall, I like the second half of the song. So I like the second half of the song. First half, I'm not really messing with it that much. Easy 3 out of 5. Now, this track right here is Hypernormalization. Hypernormalization is pretty okay. I like the beat. I like how it sounds, but I think, the rapping gets a little bit too old to listen to. It's kind of that same flow over and over and over again. And then we ended off with Fuck Ups. And I think Fuck Ups is actually a really good track to end off this whole entire album. Now, there is that second part. There is that second part of the song where they do this vocal switch up, and it's kind of like this demon voice, and that demon voice doesn't really sound that good in my opinion. But I really enjoy the beat. The 808s are fucking on fire. The drums are on fire. And then also the rapping in the beginning. The hook too is really fucking good. I overall really do enjoy Fuck Ups. I'd easily give it a 4 out of goddamn 5. Now guys, when we talk about, Suicide Boys, They Will Be Done, I think, one of my first, experiences of reviewing this album, I really do enjoy the beat selection of this whole entire album. I like all the different sounds. The north side, the south side screaming gets a little bit old as it's, thrown throughout the whole entire album, every single fucking song. But other than that, I really overall enjoyed my listening experience of this album. There was a couple of tracks, like the singing one, which I didn't like. There's a couple of them where, the rapping is a little bit too slow. Or, there's a vocal switch up where I don't like. I don't like this person doing this certain voice. It doesn't really sound good to me. But overall, I had a pretty good experience listening to this album. For my final score of Season 11, my final album review of Season 11, the final album review of 2025, and the final review of 2025, I'm going to have to give this album an easy 6 out of 10. So 6 out of 10, what'd y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know, let me know. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. And let me tell y'all something. Thank y'all for so much. It's been a hell of a ride. Thank you so much for supporting the show throughout the whole entire year. And Season 12 officially kicks off Thursday night. So get ready for that, guys. The first episode will be goddamn up. I hope y'all like the new thumbnail style. I really like it. Hope y'all like it. And I will see y'all later. You have a good one. Yeah, guys. Bye.